This is that time of the morning. We hit that realness, and we know that there's parents and kids in the car. So I'm gonna use this opportunity for hopefully some young people and parents alike to come around this issue and dialogue about Donald Sterling. Mm-hmm. Donald Sterling represents the old guard in this country, old ideals that would institutionalize things like racism in ways that were easily disguisable, where their own ideas and their own thoughts were held private. Meanwhile, they would run big corporations that would make money off black people or Spanish people or Asian people or minorities of any kind. And they would make billions, and they would be able to hide their ideas from public. Well, until now this V. Stiviano, who I'm calling a civil rights side piece,
come on,
took a private conversation and did so only because she stood to gain something. It was selfish. She was not doing this because she thought his ideas, Donald Sterling's, were wrong, because they dated for how long?
It's unclear, but she was definitely around long enough to be a fixture at his office and the head of his charitable foundation.
So let's not act like she did this because she wanted to do the right thing. This was for money. So let's set that aside. But the conversation now is, are we as a collective group who are insulted by who Donald Sterling is as a person going to continue to pay attention to how this big business, the NBA and the Los Angeles Clippers, goes about eradicating him from the NBA? Because just yesterday, the commissioner came along and said he's banned for life. Cool. Mm-hmm. We're going to fine him $2.5 million.
The max allowed.
Cute.
He's a billionaire.
So equal to about $51 in his pocket. Mm-hmm. But now we have to watch, because Donald Sterling, I'm sure he's not going to just walk away from this. He loves being in court. That's what he does.
Suits, lawsuits.
You read Misinfo, at least 4.
Yes.
Department of Justice came after him.
He sued former girlfriends, jump-offs. Prostitutes.
He loves the courtroom.
Yes.
And so what if the other owners aren't able to push him out that easy? Are we going to just act like justice is served on this? Or are we going to continue to put the pressure on publicly, whether it's us as fans of the NBA, people who go to these arenas and pay our hard-earned money on concessions and parking and merch? Are we going to continue to make sure that this conversation is at the forefront? Because oftentimes we're satisfied with a ruling because we're the little guy. We're not in these big business boardrooms and conversations.
And it feels good.
Today.
That
tomorrow we forget.
Great. Yep.
The next day it's swept under the rug.
I don't mean to interrupt your realness, but how good are you going to feel if he is forced to sell and he sells it? He bought the team for $12.5 million in 1981. It's now worth $575 million, up to $1 billion if there's a bidding war. How good are you going to feel when he gets that check?